Since 1975, the Congo family and the Congo Funeral Home have been a caring part of this community. We have cared for you in life, and we have cared for you in death, whether through our seniors' cookouts, our youth citywide cleanups, our support of community events, or our care for families during the loss of a loved one. We promise to be there for you. Our mission is to serve every family with dignity, respect, and care. So remember, when someone you love has passed away, call Congo Funeral Home, Delaware's premier funeral home. Visit us at our website at www.congofuneralhome.com or call us at 302-652-8887.
Hi, I'm Kim, and I am a part of the Congo Funeral Home team. My part is to help people pre-plan their funerals. Congo Funeral Home has been serving the community for many years, and now I find myself being able to say that I have helped people pre-plan funerals for 30 years. I know I'm only 34, right? How can this be? But I have been helping the community pre-plan young, more mature, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles. Every single person can pre-plan their funeral. And you can do it with a company that you know, that you trust, that's been here supporting you for many years. Many times families come in and they're having some difficulty, and I feel bad because I need to get to these places to help people understand that you can just take your time, make easy, low monthly payments, and not have the hardship at the time of death. So sometimes when someone passes, the pain is just overwhelming, and it's intensified by the fact that we have to figure out how we're going to pay. Well, we at Congo Funeral Home want to support you in every way possible, also by giving you options to prepay your funeral. There are no health questions that would disqualify you. There's no amount of money. We will work it out so that it happens for you. So please call me, 302-652-8887 or 218-8632. And I want you to know that I'm available to come talk to your church group, your community group, just your family if you like, because it's important that we get this information out to as many people as possible so we can help everyone feel the peace that some of us feel once we know that we're securely covered. So please give me a call and I will help. Hi, and welcome to Community Spotlight. I'm Kim, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Dani Matthews. Hi.
Just Dani.
Just Dani?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Dani. So she's written a few books.
Yes.
But we get to talk about at least one of them today. Mm-hmm. And Pretty Little Bastard Child.
Yes.
And it's such a cute little baby on here. That's you? I thought that was you. Such a sweetie pie. So we get to learn a little bit of everything. So welcome and thank you again. Thank you in all ways, because people who share their story are helping so many people. You know, you touch many lives when you are courageous enough to share some of the different things that have happened in your life, some traumatic, some blessings, but you know, as we go through, I thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. So
what's one of the main things in writing? What led you to start writing, and what's one of the things that you feel like you got out of writing?
Well, I have to take you back to almost then.
Almost here. Okay.
Fantasy was my first love.
Okay.
Because when you come from a place of trauma, or when you come from a place of dysfunction, you're reaching for something to get you away from what you don't understand. And as a kid, we don't understand a lot of things. So I wrote poetry. I loved TV, Saturday morning cartoons.
Yes.
See, these kids nowadays, they're going to miss that. They are not going to understand Soul Train.
Right.
If you don't clean your room, you're not watching TV, and you get up and you clean your room with the quickness.
With the quickness.
Because you had the what was some of the cartoons that were on Saturday
So we know
morning?
we definitely had Fat Albert.
Yes. Oh my God, the Jackson 5.
The Jackson 5
Oh my
cartoon
God.
and the crazy little snake. Sandy.
Yes. Oh my God.
So we had a lot of fun, and again, like you're saying, I don't care how slow you move through the week to get your dishes done or get your stuff, but if you knew it was going to be something that you could, you got that stuff done quickly done.
Because Saturday, we look forward to Saturday.
Yes, I know I did as well.
So writing was always a thing for me, and the older I got, the more I realized that it was an escape. Before I started writing books, before I became an author, I was a recording artist. I was an independent artist back in the 90s, and I wrote all my own material. But all through school, I wrote.
Hold on, so are we going to get samples of everything today?
You're not going to get the singing today. You're not going to get the singing today.
Oh, man, I'm disappointed.
But somewhere along the line, I might get a little something.
That would be so kind.
Somewhere. But
all right, so tell us about this beautiful little girl here. And tell us about her growing up and when she started some things that you felt were going on.
Well, I'm from Harlem, and I grew up in the 60s, 70s. And, back then, though it was a closeness and a camaraderie, there was also snakes in the grass.
Oh, yeah.
The grass was green. It was beautiful to look at.
Right.
But there's always that little slithering one.
That little thing.
So I came from a place of dysfunction.
What makes you define it as dysfunction?
Well, when you have an alcoholic and a codependent grandparent, and your mom is a young mom that made a couple of mistakes, still lived with the parents, but, was doing a few things. And I don't want to tell too much because I want people to purchase the book.
But that's going to entice them. So come on, we want a little bit so we can get them to read the book.
There was a lot of stuff going on in the house. And I probably saw a lot of things that I shouldn't have seen at an early age. When you know your grandfather to be one way when he's not drinking. And then he comes home and he's slurring at the word. You don't know as a kid, as a 2, 3, 4-year-old that he's slurring, but you know he's...
Something going on there, right?
And then he's passing out and he's throwing up and, grandma's like, take, the babies and go in there.
Right.
So... Fortunately, there were boarders in my house. But unfortunately, there were boarders in my house. Okay. And my mother worked at night. So with her still living with my grandparents, it was free babysitting. It was right there.
Yeah,
what I'm saying? But that's not always the best thing. I tell people today because of what I experienced. Stop leaving your kids with the freest babysitter that you can find.
That's it.
Your friend down the block, somebody around the corner, Uncle so-and-so over there that ain't your uncle.
Right.
Auntie so-and-so, because, it ain't always the right thing to do.
At all.
And the kid will let you know, but you got to pay attention to
You got to pay attention.
And unfortunately, when we're young and we feel like we're missing something, we might have these babies, but we ain't ready for them.
Right. That's for sure. Yes. That happens.
That was my mom.
Especially if you think that, sometimes we think that's the key to holding on, or that's the key to that relationship, or something.
Let me not get rid of this baby, or let me not take no birth control because I love him.
Right, and then he's gonna always be a part of my life.
No,
not happening.
History has shown us that that's not the case.
Definitely not.
Over and over and over again.
Yes.
So. Way back then, I found out that I liked to escape, and way back then I found out that there were some things that I didn't quite understand, but I knew something didn't feel right. And it came from the people that I should have trusted and should have taught me how to do certain things with positivity in my life.
Right.
So, yeah.
And so, how did you spend your whole young adult life in the Harlem area? When did you leave? Tell us some things about that.
I was born and raised in New York. I stayed in New York for the first 25 years of my life. However, I did a couple of summers down Eastern Shore in Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah. A city girl in the country. Ooh, Lord. That was funny. That was funny until it wasn't.
Okay. What does that mean? How does that?
Well, it was a perpetrator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was funny until it wasn't.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, but it definitely showed me some things about myself, like bugs and little slimies and creepy crawlies was not my thing. My brother had an affinity for that, but I know he had a jar full of like frogs and praying mantis and this and that, and that's, you know, we went to private school as kids, so we knew a little bit about like anatomy and so on and so forth, and you know, the food chain and la 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 la, but to actually see like the alive menagerie in a big jar. Okay. And what he didn't realize was the frog was going to eat the praying mantis and the other bugs and stuff like this. That's what frogs do, you know. But yeah, we started seeing less bugs, and wait a minute, the frog's still here. What's going on?
He getting a little thicker, huh? Wait a minute, he growing.
I got
everything
to see my first pig slaughter and pig roast and crabs and beer.
So the pig slaughter, was it the runt or something where the mother, something happened? Because I know the first time I got to see,
it was a little one.
Weird.
It was a little one, and they strung it up and, you know, did what they did, and it was going around on, you know, Uncle so-and-so had a pit, and that's what they did, and they had their little beer and crabs, and that's when we found out that my brother was allergic to seafood. Oh my goodness, that was almost a
critical situation.
It was tragic.
Yeah.
Like, he started closing and everything, so you know that was pretty scary. But all of that happened down.
So now, was it actually on a pig farm, or did they just go? And I say
no,
that
it was in his yard.
My family had, my grandfather, uncle, people had a pig farm, and so I can say, if I'm right down the street, I can smell a pig farm from a pig crawling through or something from 100 miles. That's a smell that stays with you for life.
For life, yeah.
That's a
and that
very
pig,
distinct smell.
That pig roasting on that daggone pit,
something about that you never, your mind holds on to that smell.
The one thing I do remember very vividly was Cooking Good Chicken was down there in Maryland, and a lot of the family that wasn't really my family that I met down there worked at the chicken factory.
Okay, yes.
And that was some, So I saw the uncle, who wasn't really the uncle, hunt for some geese.
Okay, yes.
And pop them and slap the neck, you know, and pull the feathers and string them up. And I'm like, oh, God, I gotta go back home. I wasn't used to that stuff. I was a city girl.
So wait, other fun part, did you get to go get eggs? So that was different growing up between the city and being in the country.
Yeah, that
you know, the eggs are all over.
The chicken coop stank. I wasn't in all of that.
So I don't think we had. I think
I was a little bougie.
Was all over.
I was bougetto. Okay, I'll go for bougetto. Okay, a little ghetto, a little bougie. So I tell people now, I'm half holy and I'm half hood.
All right, watch out.
Pray with me, don't play with me.
I heard that. I like that.
Okay. I got a shirt, like for real.
That says, pray with me.
No, half holy, half hood.
Okay.
That means pray with me, don't play with me.
All right. So you referred to the uncle. Was the uncle someone that you ended up not being able to trust, or why did he was
cool.
He was cool.
He was cool. It was just the people that brought us around that atmosphere that actually ended up being someone that I had a lot of respect for, that at a certain point I lost respect for because they were not to be trusted.
Okay.
So, but that's in the book too.
That's in the book too. So let me ask this. Did you and your brother have some of the same, was he about your age? Did y'all have some of the same situations?
My brother was 3.5 years older than me.
Okay.
And I really don't know if he experienced some of the traumas that I experienced.
Okay.
But I do know that the dysfunction, yes. Yes. We both had different dads. And, his dad died. Okay. So I know that was real painful for him. Up until his father died, he was a part of his life.
Okay.
But he didn't live with us. He was never,
right.
there. But he was always financially there.
Okay.
We always went to visit him. He would
always give it.
Right.
Okay.
So, I believe that was a very traumatic experience for him. So, yeah. My brother and I were very close at a certain point, and then I started to see the difference in the way my mother treated my brother as opposed to how she treated me. And it caused a lot of difference between my brother and I.
Yeah, I can get that as well. And it's difficult trying to understand the dynamics of all of those differences.
I mean, because you're a kid. Again, you're a kid, and you don't know. And back in the day, you did not ask questions.
Yes.
Because, in that era, it was like, because I said so.
Right, exactly.
Well, I got to go to my room because I said.
That's it.
Do I have to say it again? It was a look.
It was a look.
You ain't have to hit me.
That's it.
And then at a certain point, it's like, I don't care. If I'm going to get the hit, I'm just going to get the hit. Because, I was angry.
Right.
There's stuff going on that, I couldn't explain. And nobody was explaining it to me. And nobody was protecting me either. So,
So, but you just mentioned, so you did get to go to private school. So how and what were those dynamics that got you to be able to go to private school? That's
well,
major.
my mom and my uncle were Catholic school kids.
Okay.
And my grandparents believed, after transplanting from the South up to the North, they believed, first of all, they were Catholic. And they believed that if you paid for school, you'd get a better education. And to a great extent, you did. I was far more advanced in public school.
Okay.
When I finally transferred at a certain point, my mom took us out of private school and we went to public school. And I was like so far ahead of them,
everything.
But and it kept me safe for a little while until I just totally started showing my behind and dropped out of school because I was going to school. To have people pay me to take their test. I was hanging out on the back staircase. I wasn't going to class. I became totally bored with school.
Yes, that can happen.
So,
yes.
So
how about music? How'd you get into the music side of things? You have a talented family like that?
Yeah, my father was a musician. My brother was a musician. My mom was a singer and dancer.
Oh, right.
And so music was always on in our house. We were always, it was always something. We went to the Dance Theater of Harlem when back in the day they used to offer music and dance.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so we were always in something after this. My mother worked nights.
Okay.
So after my grandparents, passed away, and my mom, before my grandparents actually passed away, we had moved out of their place. And, she needed us to be busy during the day.
Okay.
Or far away from her so she could do whatever it was she wanted to do now that she had freedom to do it. And so if that meant putting us in karate, gymnastics, music, whatever, you got to go. And then when that was no longer, you got to take your behind outside.
I know, that's right.
Because, back in the day, it was no what?
Yeah, you
being a couch
outside.
potato?
Exactly.
Sitting in the house playing. First of all, it wasn't no video game. That's number one.
It was jacks and marbles.
Hello, skellies.
Yes.
Hopscotch.
Right.
Double dutch. Stickball. Anything. Run,
outside.
Catch Your Kids, Ringolevia, all of that stuff that you look. You got to go outside. And you know what time you better be back here.
When the lights come on.
Boop, that was it.
The lights come on, you
Say
better
less,
be back
Mom.
home.
Because I wanted to go back out tomorrow.
That's right.
We wasn't messing up today. Get away from you. But
So we get all kinds of different things in Catholic school. What do you think, other than a better education, what stuck with you from Catholic school?
well, my mom went to Catholic school. I was in private school.
You were in private school.
I got my butt torn up in private school.
Okay.
Because stuff, again, was already going on that, had me very perplexed, excuse me. Mm-hmm. And I started acting out.
Okay.
Probably around first grade.
Oh, that was young.
Oh yeah, first, second grade. No.
First or second grade.
No,
you
not now.
acting out?
The consolation is this: my brother graduated sixth grade, and then he was going to junior high school in a public school.
Okay.
When he went to public school, my mom took me out of private school, and I think I went to public school in either the fourth or the fifth grade. Mm-hmm. So I was 9 or 10 years old when I went. But by then, I went up to the third grade because I remember fourth, fifth, and sixth, I was in public school.
Okay.
So, and I was always in an intermediate class.
Okay.
So, as well as being advanced academically, I think part of the structure was a little bit better for me.
Yes,
I was a little bit more disciplined in school.
Right. Okay.
But if I didn't like the teacher, it was like all bets were off.
Right. I get
I'm
that.
listening to you for.
Right. That's it. I get that.
I got to listen to that.
And it's a respect thing, because some teachers weren't, it's kind of like they didn't know how to engage with young people.
Especially African Americans.
Yeah, they didn't know how to, right. They didn't know how to engage.
Let's just say it wasn't a lot.
Right.
They still were in that, that thing.
Yeah, so it was different. It was definitely different.
It was different in the 60s and 70s. Yeah. We had just started with Black Power.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying?
And we know the other part was what? Destroy him?
Yeah, okay.
So, we're not going to say.
We're going to behave.
Yes, we're going to behave.
We're going to behave. But, yeah.
So, the nice thing about that, I really think that those of us who had that era, it was a different education in self-awareness and blackness and all of the things, and pride and all of those things. It was a total different thing. Because we were busy trying to be heard. Yes.
We were busy trying to prove, because the parents and the grandparents were like, look, you got to be 100 times better than them.
That's it, with everything.
Go yourself in and get you a good job with benefits. The only way for you to do that. But see, things have changed now. Right. These young people, they don't care.
Right.
They're like, what? I won't even go back tomorrow.
Right.
I mean, we recognize it every day.
Right.
Like, a new employee comes in. Yeah, okay, you start training them in the day. They don't show back. I'm like, wait a minute. I just hired somebody yesterday.
Yes.
When I had my restaurants and stuff, I actually had a reentry program where we got people out of drug rehab. We got people out of, coming out of drug court. We got people out of jail, so on and so forth. And we taught them about culinary skills. We got them prepared for their serve safe, put them in the kitchen, taught them, all of the different appliances and different knives and cutting skills and all of that stuff. And, unless they were court reported to my program,
really?
I turn around and I'm like, hey, it's 9 o'clock.
And
you're supposed to be here 2 hours ago. What's
exactly.
going on? I don't think what?
Yeah.
Just started work last week.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yes.
Yeah, but, back in the day, it was like if you were blessed enough to get a job as a young person, you did everything you could to prove yourself. It was value.
Yes.
And I don't know about nobody else, but I liked my change.
I know that.
I ain't ask my mother for nothing. I
understand now that because I worked in family business, that there's no child labor laws in family business.
Right. That
so we
part.
worked a lot.
Okay.
When I was very happy for this, but then as I got older, I was like, I was around for a long time.
Okay.
You mean other people was making
Yes. No, you got rent free. You got everything else. So you can just own yourself in there and cut up that whatever or do whatever it was supposed to be doing.
That's right.
That was it.
And we were happy.
Well, I kind of did that with my, my daughter and my grandson too. I'm like, look. I need y'all to come down here tonight. I got a big show going on in here tonight, and I need y'all to come down here. You bust the tables, and I need a server. So come on.
I heard that. And again, there's a new skill. There's a skill and that's what I think a lot of people don't get, that skills that are transferable everywhere are great.
Absolutely.
Sometimes if you go places, you may not be able to go into that career that you're thinking of right away. However, if you have a skill that you can take anywhere, that's a blessing.
And ServSafe certificates are good nationally.
Okay.
So,
So tell us about that for people who don't know. Your ServSafe certificate, how they get it, what they did, your program. Tell us a little bit about how you got that together.
Blessing Seeds was a program that Seeds of Bethesda. I'll get the Blessing Seeds some other time. But Seeds of Bethesda was a program, a young lady that had the actual restaurant. I was head of the back of the house and the premier chef in the restaurant. And, she had been trying to get this program off the ground, and here I am. Coming from that field, because before I went into cooking, I was a substance abuse and mental health counselor. Okay. And so I was like, no, you don't have to do all of that. Just do this. Boom. And we implemented the program and went right to the people and was like, look, we're looking for ladies that are coming out of this. It was a bunch of different recovery houses and, different halfway houses and so on and so forth. And you put together some flyers, you have your certification, and bam. So what we did was we taught them in the restaurant, and we made lunch hours $5 lunch menu. Okay. And we showed them how to cook. We taught them the exacts behind cooking and the chemistry behind, what's the difference between frying and baking and, so on and so forth. And had them washing dishes, had them busting pots. At nighttime, they were able, because we would have comedy, we would have live shows, so on and so forth. And they were able to come back in the evening time up until a certain time because they had curfew. Right. And they could work as a busser, or they could work as a server. Okay. And they could make a little extra money on top of their stipend. Okay. So it's and it was a nonprofit, of course. So the restaurant, of course, was for profit, but the program was a nonprofit, and not during the day you had so many work hours, and then you had training hours where myself or one of the other staff would train them on their ServSafe test. So when it was time to take the test, they just knew it. Boom. That's it. And you could take that and go to any restaurant or any industry with food, and pow, I'm certified. Hey, yes. So it was my way. I've always done things to give back to the community. That's a great it's important.
I think that's something different about people in that era. I think it was embedded in us, that give back.
Well, it's your duty. Yeah. It's your duty. And it's all that God asks us to do is to take care of each other. Love your brother like you love yourself.
That's it. Love.
Who's to say, it says, love thy neighbor. Right. You don't get to pick and choose which neighbor. Right. God says thy neighbor.
That's right.
That don't mean the one that you like. That's it. That don't mean the one that you look, okay, let me look at you. Oh, okay, you got red bottoms on, so I'm going to love you. Come on now. Or, oh, you don't smell, so I'm going to love you. Right. The ones that need you the most are the ones that need the most love.
That's it. And that you can't tell. Right. You can't see that and know that that's what it is. However, as we've been talking, you have you got to follow your instincts. You got to listen to the voice, and you will know what to do. And sometimes you were taught. It's so funny because I was planning. I'm having something, and I just knew who was and wasn't coming, right? And so God said, "You think you know who is and isn't coming." So I was like, "All right, I guess God said that it's not going to be what I think it's going to be." But so it's real. It's definitely real.
Absolutely.
And you have to listen, obey, and understand when something happens. For those of us who definitely believe, I wonder sometimes, because it says you trust God. So if you trust in God and you get that, go ahead and trust God. Like, stop.
That's it, because I'll be kicking and screaming all the way, because that's another thing. That's another hat that I wear. I'm an ordained deacon.
Okay.
I can marry you and I can eulogize you.
Okay.
Certification, certified. Holy, 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 holy.
All right.
But I tell people all the time, you might not call your God God, but that doesn't mean you don't believe in a source.
That's it. That's it.
Is that power higher than you?
Yes.
Is it loving, caring, and greater than you? Then pleasure to meet you.
That's right.
I can't tell you who to believe in or who you call, what you call. There's only one source.
Right.
And nobody's come back from the dead to tell me what that source name is. Was it good or bad? Was it hell or heaven? Nobody came back to tell me that. So what I'm going to do is be the best me right here, outside of the four walls.
Right, all
because
the time.
See, people, and talking in tongues, shouting and carrying on.
And they go outside.
Walk out the door, they curse you right out.
It's different.
Laying out. I'm speaking in tongues. And go right out the door and be like, shut the F up.
Or worse than that, they're just mean for no good reason. Like,
mean. Look, how about in church, the ushers and the...
Mean.
Just put me in a seat. You ain't got to do all of that mean mugging and carrying on. I know your feet hurt. Take them shoes off. Put on something that feel comfortable. Look, lady, stop. I'm trying to respect you now. Behave yourself. You in the house of the Lord. What's wrong with you?
Yes.
So that's why I take my show on the road.
Judgment.
I
get a lot of judgment because I tell people openly, like, the truth is it. I definitely will be in church on Congo Day. So we have a Congo Day.
Okay.
So a country church that we have. We can probably fit about 30 members in there. But we all 30 piled in on Congo Day. We all happy.
You do what you do.
So, but within that, I still live my life the way I know that I'm supposed to live my life. I still get... we're in the funeral business. You hear sermons all the time. Like, we get to hear stuff. So please don't judge on how you think I hear the word or what's going on based on whether or not you see me here or there or how I pay tithes or whatever. Like, everybody who's not supposed to judge all the time.
Right? Like, I'm sitting here right now and I'm just saying, ain't that something? Since I was a little girl, I was a tomboy all my life. And like, even now, it's like... people judge my outsides all the time, right? And then I open my mouth, and me and our producer, we work together.
Okay.
Right. And it's not to toot my own horn, but I've been a person in pain.
Okay.
I've been, under the margin. I've been homeless. I've been to jail. I've been in places where a lot of people wouldn't have survived.
Right.
And I've been through a lot of emotional, mental, and spiritual pain. So I don't want you to feel that.
Right. And so
I treat everybody with decency and respect.
Yes.
I don't care what you look like.
Exactly.
I was the joker with the mask on and the gloves up under the bridge taking the homeless food during COVID.
Right.
Hand sanitizer. I'm the one that was out in Penn Station when hey, Deacon Danny, you got a coat for me? Like, hey, baby, you done lost a little weight. What size are you now? I got you. And they know I'm coming back with that coat.
That's right.
I got blankets.
That's it.
We giving out sandwiches and food and coffee and all of that.
Everything.
In the winter because they got a story. Their story might not be your story, my story.
Exactly.
But if you listen to any homeless person that you would take time They all came from somewhere.
Yes, and again, in that judge not, so many intelligent people, you can't just look on the outside and decide where you think this person, because you're going to get shut down.
Let me tell you something. I tell people all the time, you watch the mouth that you put on that person sitting over there. Mm-hmm. That might be Jesus testing you.
Right.
Stop playing with yourself.
So it's important that with that you do. And so fortunately, I was taught to respect everybody,
yes.
No matter what, and all that stuff, and love. I got to think sometimes that I got my love and kindness stuff from me, because I don't know that they gave me all that love and kindness. I think that might be something I just picked up on my own, but no, in all honesty, I really can appreciate everyone. And again, as I shared at the start, like, I recognize that we as a people are very guarded, and we've learned to, I always say, condemn the victim of things that happen. Like they were responsible for the trauma and the abuse that they received. And so,
can you see the back of my shirt?
Oh, see that? I did not even see that before that. My trauma is not my fault. And that's what we have to...
The trauma is not your fault, but your healing...
That's it.
...is your responsibility.
That's it.
It's so very important. And people, I think, they get it twisted. Like you said, they condemn...
They do.
The victim. Like, if a woman screams rape... Oh, she asked for it. You see them, that short dress?
Yes. No.
No.
It's so terrible.
Means
no. Whatever.
Period.
Whatever it is.
Listen, now. I'm not condoning some of the dresses that I see these little youngins
everywhere,
and the pants, and I'm
and
like,
the shorts.
Lord. Oh, Jesus. But no means no.
No means no.
And that's what they making. They making, you got the entertainers that look like they just came off the pole on the stage. And I'm like, oh, Lord, what is going on? What are we doing here?
What we don't get is some of the other... I am just determined to help people understand the different levels of abuse. So I recently was speaking with a lady who was in church, and church was teaching her that her abuse wasn't her abuse. So because it wasn't physical abuse to her, she didn't understand with today, now they got words for everything. The narcissistic control that was placed on her was a form of abuse.
Absolutely.
And the fact that she couldn't go, the way she was, she didn't recognize.
Yes.
So I really want to help people understand when they're feeling something, you know what I mean? Because you see it, it's like, something's not quite right, but because society doesn't want you to call it out. Like, there are places where, not here.
And yes, but let me give you a jewel. I'm gonna drop something on
please.
You. All right. You can't heal from what you can't speak to.
That's it. Yes.
Period.
Yes.
If I can't speak to it, and I can't put a name on it.
Yes.
Hey, if you got cancer, they call it cancer, right?
Right, all day.
If you got autism, they call it autism. If you got meningitis, whatever it is,
there's a name.
They speak to it, right?
Yes.
Now let's find something to make it go away, or make it better, or to make it bearable, right?
To help you heal.
That part. That part. So if I was molested, why can't I say I was molested?
Exactly.
If I was physically abused, he might not have beat me up. He might not have slapped me.
But he always
snatched me.
Or called you names.
Or called me names that my mama didn't name me.
Right.
And it wasn't a nickname I gave myself.
Not at all.
Is that okay? Does that make it all right?
Right.
Or they withheld sex from you.
Yes.
Or they withheld money from you.
Or love.
Or love from you.
Yes. It's conditioning, training. All of those things.
It's still emotional abuse.
It's emotional
I'd rather
abuse.
you punch me right in my mouth
than emotionally abuse me forever.
To emotionally abuse me.
Because one's gonna heal, and one's gonna, and you doubt yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's something that is not talked about.
Control. That's the thing. Let me push you all the way down here because you can't be up here with me.
Right. And you're labeled and you're talked about and you're all of those things. So I really pray that I can be a voice and a part of helping people recognize. Because you got to recognize it. You've got to then acknowledge that it's something that you need to get away from, that you need to stop, and then start moving forward. And it may take some steps.
What I think is, so many of us, especially African American women, we come to this place that we feel, oh well, this is just me. We mean mugging all the time. We always ready to pop off. We always, you know what I'm saying? I'm broken. No, you're not broken. You're traumatized and you just need to heal, baby.
You need to heal.
And sitting in the corner of the church being prayed over and laid hands on ain't going to do it.
Well, it's more to it. Gotta happen.
You can take a pill if you need a pill. And you could go talk to somebody who is licensed, not a pastor, not a pastor.
I agree.
Who is 100%. Licensed in psychology, at least sociology.
Yes, something.
Something that knows the mental, physical, and spiritual, the connection that happens. It's all one vicious cycle.
Yes.
When this ain't right,
everything else
this ain't gonna be right. And if this and this ain't right, the rest of the stuff ain't gonna be right.
And understanding the power of your mind. You can talk yourself into, out of, up and down, everything. Baby. So we are strong, and your mind is so powerful.
Shut your mouth and keep on talking.
So powerful.
Yes.
And so we have to start understanding the power. And so many people in church, I love church people, okay? But so many people in church would talk about the power of the tongue. And
then they put their tongue on you.
Yes.
Stop it, y'all. Stop it. Stop it.
And then get angry because I say, my children, my children, you're going to speak kind words about. My children, you're going, Kim think her kids are so. I believe what you've taught me. You taught me that this tongue is powerful. So I need you to speak positivity and love into my babies because y'all said that's what it was.
Yes.
So I'm believing you. So because I believe you, then I'm, wrong if I say, if I put some boundaries about how you speak to me and mine.
Right.
Because
period.
Yeah.
Because it's what you put into the universe.
That's what you put out there.
And it'll circle around 3 times and come back stronger than what you put it out there as. You see, because what people don't understand is you block your own blessing.
Yes.
Now, I have to shut people down because because I have a big heart and because I'm a counselor by nature, right?
Yes.
I might work in food service, but I always got time to listen.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
My motto is I got 2 minutes.
Right.
I got 2 minutes to listen to you.
Okay.
But if we can't solve it in 2 minutes, you're on your own.
I'm going to have to try that one because I think I'm giving away too many minutes.
But in my reality is, when you come with the negative, I got to shut that down.
Yeah.
Because my spirit soars today.
Yes.
It took me a long time to get some joy in my life. A long time.
Yes.
And the world didn't give it to me. So I can't allow you, boo-boo, because you're a deadbeat downer. You're miserable. You got a lot of pain going on, boo-boo. And there's another place and time for that, but not today.
And that vibe, that stuff just comes all out.
Oh, my God.
I got to protect myself from that.
Yes. You walk out into the world in the morning. Listen, I put up a live every day that's positive and affirmation.
All right.
Every day. You go on my Instagram page. You go on my Facebook page.
What is your Instagram page?
Instagram is author Dani, D-A-N-I, author Dani.D3.
Okay.
And my YouTube channel is the same thing, author speaker Dani 64. And I got Threads and I got, TikTok and all of that stuff. And, but my whole existence, and I wholeheartedly believe this from the depths of my soul, that I'm still here today because somebody had to be left to tell the story.
Okay.
And I know that the story that you sit on right now is going to help so many people to free themselves because it's deep. It's whew. Let me just say this to you. It took me 18 years to birth that book.
Wow.
18.
Wow.
I wrote the first 10 pages of my manuscript by hand.
Uh-huh.
Transparency moment. I still write by hand.
Okay.
Then
cool.
I turn around and I talk, text it in,
right.
and then I edit it. And
right.
But in 2005, I wrote the first 10 pages.
Wow.
And it took me until 2023 to actually publish the book.
So in 2005, what happened to let you say, I'm going to start right now?
I was at a place of transition, and I believed that at that point it was time.
Okay.
It was time to heal a little more.
Oh, yes.
Because I was going down. Mm-hmm. I was going into a depression. Mm-hmm. Life was lifing. Mm-hmm. And I had some transition. I think I had a relationship had failed because of me and my lasciviousness.
Okay.
And a bunch of other stuff that comes directly from being promiscuous and not learning how to love myself enough. And I was it was dark. It was all dark around me. And I was going down. I was burning both ends against the middle. I was performing on weekends. I was working 84 hours a week.
Wow, that's 82. A lot.
I was working an overnight job, 32 hours. I was working a day job, 40 hours. I would come home, boom. I might not even come home. I'm driving to a show on the weekends, and it was just a vicious cycle. And I was going down. So I started writing, and then something shifted me to the left. Okay, I'll finish this later.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And then, stuff happens.
And then life keeps moving. Life keeps going on.
Job change, town change, relationship change, this change, that change. And by God's grace in 2022, when we transferred from Jersey down to Delaware for work, for where I work now, 90 days after opening the store, my back imploded.
Oh my goodness.
Like I have a fusion from the middle of my back down to my butt crack.
Okay.
And usually people that have that type of fusion, they don't go back to work ever.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, especially with being the age that I am. And this is from my surgeon's mouth. And I know because I work in pain every day. Every day.
Okay.
But God is such a healer and such a good God. And I truly, my will to live is just, I got to get the story to the masses. There's things that I still have to do. There are people's lives that I still have to touch.
Yes.
And that's why I'm still here today.
Yes.
So in necessary surgery, bam, I'm sitting here and I'm losing it. I'm like, oh God, I know you didn't bring me down here to love. I know you ain't do this to me, Lord. Like, what am I doing? What am I gonna do now? And I said, okay, let me get up and finish unpacking. So I went and I moved a box that had nothing to do with writing, nothing to do with nothing. Poop.
There came the
whole
papers.
10-page manuscript falls out of the box. I start boo-hooing and I start shouting. And I'm like, I got it. Because when we were packing to move, I found the manuscript.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, it wasn't frayed.
All right.
It hadn't faded. It was like it was in pristine condition.
Wow.
I could still read the words. So when that happened, that was a direct message from God.
That's it.
You have nothing to do, young lady, but to heal right now. Couldn't walk. I had physical therapy in my house because once I got upstairs, I could not get back down. Okay. So they were coming to teach me how to walk again. Like literally, that's how bad the surgery and my back was. And I had nothing to do but write. So I birthed the book.
Hey.
And it's been like this ever since.
Isn't that something? See?
You know, we've sold about 5,000 copies of that book. We're getting ready to make it into a TV series. There's been 2 anthologies and a part 2 coming behind that. It's just about ready to go to publishing. You know, I'm doing different things. I'm doing a lot of speaking engagements to women. Getting ready to do a healing retreat conference in the next 6 to 8 months. So there's so many things.
So how do we find out? So let's say somebody's watching, and how do we say, I think I would like to go to that retreat? What do they do?
You're going to follow me on Instagram. And if you put in AUTHOR Dani anywhere, I'm going to come up.
Okay.
I'm the cute one with the hat cocked to the side and the bow tie. Yeah, that's me. But if you put it in, I'll give you guys my email address and stuff to make sure that, wherever it's broadcast, you could always put it up. And, you can go to, all my books are on Amazon. Okay. I know we're boycotting them right now. Sorry, Amazon, but we are. It's on Amazon, Lulu.com, Barnes & Noble Books, so you put in Author Dani, you put in Pretty Little Bastard Child. We got shirts, we got blessing vases, we got all kinds of stuff, you know what I'm saying? But, the biggest thing to this is like, before God closes these pretty browns, I have to, it's my obligatory duty. Not that I am the healing guru or anything like that, but heal people heal people.
That's it.
I have started on a journey that, and I've been working on this journey for a long time. I mean, I've been free of crack cocaine for 36 years, 36 years this August,
So, and we talked about something else, so you came off that and chicken. Around the same time.
Yeah. I didn't come off the chicken back then. I came off the beef and the pork though. I stopped smoking in 1994. I mean,
beef and pork and crack all together. Hey y'all, that says something right there.
Recovery comes in all shapes, sizes, and forms. But you have to be willing. You have to want it. It's for those who want it.
It's for those who want it. And so with that, I think I don't need people to always understand. So I brought that up, that food is important to your healing. Yes. And as you put everything good into your body and you pay attention to how you do it, sometimes I think the prayer over your food and it's all going to everything will magically disappear. It's lost.
Not if you got chitlins and hog maws and fattening stuff and yuck and butter. I think
we have to pay attention to what's going on in order as we become stronger and heal. And everything, we all can't, it's a little difficult for everybody to just stop everything right away.
And you know what? You can't do it all at one time.
Exactly. Either. A little bit here. This week I'm going to do a little less up. So it's a journey, as you were saying. And it's a journey.
A lot of what helped me with food was for the last 15 or so years, I do fasting.
That's so great.
A few times a year.
That's great. Yes. Yeah. And fasting is important because everything needs some time to.
Well, if you expecting a harvest, right?
That's right.
You're expecting a harvest, right?
That's it.
So you got to turn your plate down.
Yeah.
You gotta, starve your flesh.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, when I'm fasting, I don't have coffee. There is no sex. There is nothing. There is nothing. There is praying and fasting.
I heard that.
And that is that. Even on medications that I were on. If I couldn't do a full fast, I did a Daniel fast.
Okay.
And, it's not just to do the health thing. It's to do the health thing.
That's it. And that's
the health thing.
That's so important. So important. And so I want us to keep in touch.
Absolutely.
Because I think I got this much of where I wanted to go and we're out of time.
That's okay.
That's okay. So we're going to do it again, right?
And listen, there's another book coming up.
Okay.
And that'll give you time to finish that one.
All right. So I'm one of those people. Once I get it, I got, how you just got to get to it to see what's happening next. So I think for me, reading is like people binge watch. I binge read, I guess, in that sense, because I want to I need to find out what's happening next.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So I thank you. I appreciate your teaching, your sharing,
Thank you.
the love that you give to the world,
I
and
appreciate you,
all that's
and I
there.
appreciate my people.
Yes.
You know, because I don't even have to like you, but I gotta love you because the power I believe in
That's right.
says that I have to.
Yes.
And in loving you, I'm gonna help to heal you so you can stop bleeding out all over me because I ain't cut you.
Oh, I like that. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I want to thank the audience. I want to encourage you to support. Remember, first of all, the healing sometimes comes from other people's stories because you realize, hey, I'm not the only one that went through something like this. So purchase, read, begin to heal. Maybe journal yourself or do something great that's going to help you. And most important, keep watching, come back, and thank you so much. See you next time.
Hi, Cherry Congo again, and I just wanted to reiterate some of the services that we offer at our administrative office at 2904 West 2nd Street, in addition to, of course, making your funeral arrangements. If you have to get something notarized, we have 3 different notaries public on site, so come on over, give us a call first, of course, and let us know that you need something notarized. We'll be glad to take care of it. If you need something faxed, just come, give us a call again, and we'll be glad to fax something to wherever you would like. Any kind of services that we can accommodate for you, we're here for you, and we'll be glad to do it. So just remember us. Our telephone number is 302-652-8887. The email address is congofuneralhome@aol.com. Okay? See you soon.
Hi, I'm Kim, and I am a part of the Congo Funeral Home team. My part is to help people pre-plan their funerals. Congo Funeral Home has been serving the community for many years, and now I find myself being able to say that I have helped people pre-plan funerals for 30 years. I know I'm only 34, right? How can this be? But I have been helping the community pre-plan, young, more mature, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, every single person can pre-plan their funeral. And you can do it with a company that you know, that you trust, that's been here supporting you for many years. Many times families come in and they're having some difficulty, and I feel bad because I need to get to these places to help people understand that you can just take your time, make easy, low monthly payments, and not have the hardship at the time of death. So sometimes when someone passes, the pain is just overwhelming, and it's intensified by the fact that we have to figure out how we're going to pay. Well, we at Congo Funeral Home want to support you in every way possible, also by giving you options to prepay your funeral. There are no health questions that would disqualify you. There's no amount of money. We will work it out so that it happens for you. So please call me, 302-652-8887 or 218-8632. And I want you to know that I'm available to come talk to your church group, your community group, just your family if you like, because it's important that we get this information out to as many people as possible so we can help everyone feel the peace that some of us feel once we know that we're securely covered. So please give me a call and I will help.
Hi, I'm Dani. I'm an author, I'm a deacon, and I'm a chef. And you might know me as one of the other. Listen, today I just want to tell you to keep turning in because I got a story to tell you. Pretty Little Bastard Child is out on Amazon Books, Barnes & Noble Books, but I'm an author of 3.5 books, okay? I want you to find me on YouTube at author, speaker, Dani 64, and on Instagram, I believe I am at author Dani.D3. And I would give you my full government, but if you go to Facebook, you're going to find me if you put in anything. But listen, your trauma is not your fault, but your healing That's your responsibility. So come and hang out with me and keep watching the show. So this way we can heal together and make this world a better place. Be blessed. Be well. Love you. Peace.
Okay, and also I just want to mention that if you ever need information about any of our upcoming funeral services, please go to www.congofuneralhome.com. Again, that website address is www.congofuneralhome.com. You will be able to leave a condolence for the family. You will be able to see the upcoming services. So you can send flowers. You can send flowers right from our website. You can light a candle in memory of a loved one. But again, if you need more information, you can always call us at 652-8887. But if you just want to go to our website, it is www.congofuneralhome.com.